In PTE General, each skill, listening, reading, writing and speaking, is worth a maximum of 25 score points. That means that in a written paper, a test taker can receive a score out of 75 points, because the written paper consists of listening, reading and writing. In the oral paper, a test taker may receive a score out of 25. Let's see then how the score points for speaking are distributed. In the examination room, there are two examiners, an interlocutor and an assessor. The latter sits silently and listens only. Their job is to give the test taker marks in 9 categories. An assessor has a table. This table is available from the PTE website with the descriptors, can-do statements for each category, and they have to answer the question how well the test taker matches a particular descriptor. What are the categories? There are 2 groups of them. One group is global, applied to assess the whole oral exam. The criteria are commonly used by many teachers who evaluate oral performance and include fluency, interaction, range, accuracy, phonological control. The other group is called individual item traits. These are the criteria applied to assess each section of the oral test individually. Why does each section have a separate criterion? Because the sections have been designed to test some specific speaking skills, competencies. Section 10, personal information, has been designed to assess the ability to deliver a sustained monologue. Section 11, the discussion, assesses the ability to take turns. Section 12, the picture, shows how good the test taker is at thematic development. Section 13, the role play, tests sociolinguistic appropriateness. Let's take a closer look at these criteria. The sustained monologue focuses on the ability of a test taker to produce a continued oral text. It means that in Section 10, the personal information, the assessor will check for how long a test taker can speak continuously. The minimum requirement varies from 15 to 20 seconds at level A1 to 60 to 90 seconds at level 5. The test taker might be asked to describe something, relate a narrative, give an account of experiences, explain a viewpoint, or put a case. At low levels, the description may be very simplistic, delivered in isolated phrases or sentences. At levels 2 and 3, they should become more detailed on a wider range of subjects. And finally, at the highest levels, good students should show that they can integrate sub-themes or round off with a conclusion. Turn-taking focuses on an interaction strategy that allows the test taker to obtain, hold, and end a discourse. In Section 11, the discussion, there is an excellent opportunity to show this ability because the section looks like a battle in which the interlocutor keeps challenging the test taker. There won't be much chance to deliver a monologue. Here they have to react to the challenge. Sometimes maintain a discourse, sometimes gain time by using a suitable phrase, and sometimes round off with an appropriate conclusion, as these are the elements that will be assessed here. A mark in this category is not awarded at level A1 and 1 because Section 11 is omitted at those levels. Thematic development focuses on the ability to structure and manage discourse in terms of thematic organization. In Section 12, the stimulus is a picture. By describing it, the test taker should show they can impose some structure on what they're saying. The expected structure will be very simple at low levels, a list or sequence of points. But at higher levels, test takers have to show they can support their main points with some detail or integrate sub-themes and round off with a conclusion. Sociolinguistic appropriateness focuses on the sensitivity to social conventions. English is a language in which social conventions play an important role. That's why Section 13, the role play, is designed to check how sensitive the test takers are to them. A good student at lower levels has to prove that they can, for example, greet, thank, say sorry, respond to invitations and suggestions. And at higher levels, they have to show that they can vary the register depending on the situation or present a good command of idiomatic expressions and colloquialisms. Fluency is defined by the Common European Framework of Reference as the ability to articulate, to keep going, and to cope when one lands in a dead end. When we look at the descriptors, they will concentrate on the flow of speech. At lower levels, with a lot of pauses. At higher levels, with more and more colloquial flow. Interaction focuses on the oral exchange, on how production and reception alternate or overlap. Good students at low levels should be able to ask and answer some simple questions, but the communication may be dependent on the interlocutor. At higher levels, good students are expected to help the conversation along, skillfully relating their contributions to those of other speakers, or to talk naturally with fully natural turn-taking, referencing, and allusion-making. Range focuses on two areas, lexical and grammatical competence. At levels A1 and 1, good students are expected to use quite basic vocabulary and simple sentence patterns. Then the expectations rise. Students should show they can discuss various topics using complex sentence forms. Finally, at level 5, a good student is expected to show that their language enables them to convey finer shades of meaning with great precision. Accuracy seems to be self-explanatory and focuses on lexical and grammatical errors. Good students at low levels are allowed to make a lot of them, even systematically. Then at levels 2 and 3, they should show higher levels of control and avoid errors which may cause misunderstanding. At higher levels, errors should be rare or absent, even in stretches of complex language. Phonological control focuses on a few levels: individual sounds, phonetic structure of a word, syllables, stress, sentence phonetics, rhythm, intonation. Good students at low levels should simply be understood. At levels 2 and 3, pronunciation should become clearly intelligible, with some elements of natural intonation appearing. Finally, the highest levels have to show assimilation or deletions comparable to native speaker-like pronunciation. The assessor has to award a mark for each criterion from the list we've just discussed. To do so, they apply the same procedure each time. They use a marking scale from 1 to 5 to allocate score points to the categories. The choice of mark depends on how well the performance matches the descriptor in a particular criterion. Marks 2, 3 and 4 are awarded to those test takers who are within this level. Let's say we have a level A1 test taker. In section 10, we assess the ability to deliver a sustained monologue. The descriptor for the category sustained monologue reads as follows: can describe him, herself, what she, he does, and where he, she lives. All those who can do that will receive 2, 3, or 4, depending on how well they do it. If there is very little information, few details, then that's probably 2, weak performance. If you get a lot of information, a lot of details in full sentences, then that's probably 4, very good performance for the level. 3 you give when the performance is just at level. So what about 1 and 5? In this case, 1 will be for those who can't describe themselves, what they do, and where they live, namely those who are below the level. Level 5 will be for those who are above the level. If you have a test taker who discusses past events in section 10 at the A1 level of exam, they'll probably deserve 5, as they meet the descriptor from level above, which reads, can describe past activities and personal experience. At the end of each exam, an assessor has to come up with a set of 9 or 8, level A1 and 1, marks from 1 to 5. These are summed up and converted into a final score out of 25, the speaking exam result. The score points for the speaking component out of 25 are combined with those for the written component. The score points for the spoken component out of 25 are combined with those for the written component, listening, reading, writing, out of 75 to give an overall score out of 100. The overall score is graded and awarded to the test taker as any of the following: fail, pass, pass with merit, or pass with distinction.